Patty, and Daniel Green. Please see my up for your membership cards. Sorry about your names. My apologies. Starting. Well, thanks everyone for coming. Do we have anyone brand new with us today? Besides you, we'll get to you. Everyone else has been here at least once with us before. Well, welcome back, everyone. Thanks for coming to our second meeting in the new location. I was told Dave brought cherries for everybody. Yeah. Thank you, Dave. Cherries. And I was also told to announce that thanks to everyone and others that aren't present with us, we did not lose any money this year. So thanks again to Nico and the crew for all of that hard work. And a reminder for everyone, next month's meeting will not be on the 5th of July. Happy Independence Day. We're going to push it 1 week. So is that the 11th? 12th? 12th of July is the general meeting next month. Don't come here on the 5th. We will not be here. So without further ado, I'll introduce our speaker for the day.
It's not the first.
Leandro Sousa is with us.
Baltimore,
Brazil. And in line with that, thanks to the San Francisco and Seattle and Portland clubs as well for their contributions so that we all have a great speaker. I had the opportunity to hang out with him on Thursday at the Steinhardt and some of the local fish stores in San Francisco. And he definitely knows a lot more than Lauritarius. So everybody, it's going to be a great talk, and chat with him while he's here after. He won't be here with us for very long. Without further ado, Dr. Leandro Sousa.
Sit here.
Do you have a USB A to C adapter?
I do not. I didn't bring.
You have cable? Yeah. What? No, I didn't. Okay. Sorry about that.
In the years, and then it kind of pushes against here, so you don't get the breather in chain. Yeah. You did good now? Right?
No,
No,
could be a little louder for you too.
look at the beard. Yes.
There you go.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, good. Thank you, thank you. Is it working? Yes. So, thank you, thank you. And so, I think that's it. That's good. Thank you, one more, once more. Are you kind of listening? Yes. Cool. So, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you. I will be talking about the Xingu River and its natural habitats and inhabitants. I hope you like it. How long? How long should be this stop? 4 hours. 4 hours. Yeah. Figure it. So my name is Leandro Sousa. This is my email. I work and dive with ornamental fishermen in the Amazon River since 2001. I have a master's and a PhD focused on fish taxonomy, mainly catfishes, so the Doradiid family, and Loricaria family, but also some petrels and other South American fish. I am a professor at Federal University of Pará State in Altamira since 2011. And I keep fish myself since I was 8 years old. That's why I became a biologist. So it's a pleasure to be here among fellow hobbyists to share a little bit of our passion about fishes. Also, I run this project. This is a scientific and educational project called Xingu. And if you want to follow my research and the things that I publish online, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. I tried TikTok, but I didn't like it much, so only on these platforms. And my email also. So we are here now, right? More or less. I hope I got it right. This first slide is important to this time. And then it's pleasure to be here. And let's go south a little bit and talk about the Amazon. So here we are in South America. The Amazon, several countries have the Amazon, but Brazil has 50% of the Amazon. And here are the Amazonas state. Some of you might have heard about. Manaus is right here. But I live here in Pará state. So if we zoom in, this one here is the Xingu River, and I live here in Altamira. So this is the Xingu. This is the Iriri, the biggest Xingu, and Belém is the capital of Pará. Is more or less around here. So all fishes that are collected here has to go by truck to Belém, and then they are exported to US, Europe, and Asia. Just so you know the distance. To here to Belém is 800 kilometers. How many miles is that? 460. 460 miles. So it's pretty far. And it's another map showing the drainage area of the Xingu River. So it's about more than 5 100,000 square kilometers. Most of the Xingu catchment area is of ancient soil, and we can divide the Xingu River in three main regions. The lower Xingu, which is the lower flooded area that is influenced by the Amazonas River. You have the middle Xingu, the most common fishes you know of Xingu from this area. And we also have the upper Xingu that's totally different. So there are totally three different parts of the same river bed. We will take a look at some of the habitats in these three main regions, starting here in the lower Xingu. The photos and videos I will show you right now, they were all taken by me using scuba dive or snorkeling techniques. So this is one of the cameras that I use. That you will see, and sometimes we can get very close to the fishes based on for some photos that are very similar to the Xingu. This is an overview image of the lower Xingu. So it's a very widespread and wide river. Here is what we call Ria. It's when one river meets the other river and gets damped by it. So it's very low flow. The flow is very low, and the sediments deposit and forms a lot of islands. So sandy islands. Then you have the vegetation and a lot of ecological subsection here. Here, the fauna has a lot of influence of the Amazonas fauna, so you can find a lot of fishes from there. But you have also some endemics of the Xingu. Here is a picture of a fisherman about to collect Panacolos pancake. It's a flagpole that lives fully on the woods. So some fishermen, they only have a mask and a little stick that they use to get the fish out of the logs, for example. And here you can see this is how Panacolos lives in the logs, in the logging fallen woods. And not only Panacolos, you have also Pecocha, several species of flagpoles that are adapted to live in wood. This species is only found on the lower roots of the Xingu. This is another video of species hidden in the log, also Panacolos pancake. Is it possible to confirm speed light? I don't know. Listen to me. I thought, okay, we can keep trying. And you will see that some footage is very dark because the light cannot penetrate too deep. So here we are in 7 meters, it's so difficult to be real prices. We are kind of here and we still have some lights from the surface, but we use torches, flashlights to see that you have that are also found usually in rocks. It varies a lot, yeah. Some places you have more currents than others. Here is not that much because we are in the lower part and the river is very wide and kind of looks like a lake sometimes. And this is a photo of that same rock with all the specimens, Panacolos pancake, an endemic over Xingu. When you go deeper, you can find this big flagpoles. This is an identical species. This is a juvenile, so they can get out here. Another endemic to the lower Xingu, a consistent that was recently described by myself and my students. A consistent that was L23, L66, and so many other L's. So now call them Lyconsistus sideli, in honor of Eagle Sidel, German elders. And they have many different color maps. That's why they have so many L numbers. And just a paper just came out, another student of mine trying to investigate the hybridization in nature. So there are some tools that this species and Hypocysts well 174, that's now Hypocysts Uja and Zebra, they can integrate in nature. So it's a very complex scenario. But we will explain a little bit more, some minutes ago. So there are some discos in the Xingu also. And differently from the one with common knowledge, the population of discos in Xingu might be a different species. We are still investigating that. But they are found on 50 feet deep on the rocks. Yeah, so they're completely dark plants, little bark, falling branches and stuff, but they are really on the rocks. Maybe that's why they are brownish. They don't need to be very colorful. And they're very shy also. So when we are diving, they are always hidden in between the rocks. But with 15 meters or 50 feet deep or even deeper sometimes. That's not no, not yet. There are also a population of discos in shallower area. They are not with the brown one. So they're very interesting. Maybe we have to investigate molecules and the genetics. Yeah. Yeah. You know the water temperature? It's 30 degrees, 31 degrees. Xingu, they have a very stable. Xingu has a very stable temperature throughout the year. It's 33 degrees Celsius, and then in the rainy season, that's when it's cold there, it's 28 Celsius. It is. So we also have videos in Xingu, it's a little bit different from the regular angel. Also, it's a little bit shallower. It looks like a mixture between the Koji and the Scalari, but there's nobody working on that yet. Might be also be the different species in the future. A little magic as such. So it was just a quick glimpse on the lower Xingu. So one more aerial image, so you can see a lot of islands and parades. And it's humongous, it's very large. Rivers with sandy substrate, like or wet. So there are no rocks here. There are some rocks, there are sedimentary rocks, so sandstones, for example. But you can see it's a very normal river for Amazonian season. Compare this to the middle Xingu. This is a little bit upstream, where the river drains Brazilian Xingu. So you can see that's completely different habitats and completely different species as well. So the water, it's running through the. This is the dry water season, so the water level is low, and then you can see a lot of rapids. In the high water season, it's all flooded, so you can see one kind of clouds completely different, and the water is not as clear. Also, so we are here collecting, so you can see some little heads here, so just to have a scale. So this is also very a large area. Did you went there when you met this? That's Jeriqua water.
You remember the rocks being very sharp,
Yeah, yeah. It is very a lot cheaper. So we were before the image I showed you were right here. Now
Where's
the dam is here, and I didn't brought an image of the dam, but I have them in my computer. If you want, we can later. I have a presentation only on the dam also, but the dam is here. And there are two dams. One here that deviate the water to a channel that is built on the dry land here. So the big reservoir is in the dry land where it was dry land. It's a very complex engineering, but it's not very effective to generate power. As the researchers told that it's the government made it anyway.
I mean, it's cheap.
Yeah. And then, so this is the kind of formation you have in the Xingu. So these are large fissures, like a Z. And when you take a satellite image, you can see all of these features. And these features, they are many of 50 or 60 or 70 meters down. So the river runs entirely into these fissures, and you have a lot of species that are adapted to that. Yeah, and in the dry season, the rocks get exposed, and you some of very unique kind of plants, very good. Yes. So, the next slide is for you. This is family of plants that's called Podostemacea. It's a very interesting plant. It's found worldwide in tropical areas. And these are when the plants are aquatic, but when the water level drops, they bloom, then they die. Then the seeds get cemented in the rocks. And they wait until the next seed cycle to reborn again. It's a very nice ecosystem. There's a lot of insect larvae that lives on these leaves, and the fishes eat the leaves, also the insects. So it's very complex feeding system. Here we are facing south to here is the Xingu River, and that's the EDD River, the main tributary. So you can see the river bed. So it's along. This is very shallow. Man, last year, 2024, the drought was so intense that this was almost completely without water. There are some species of plepos that lives only here. There is a small ancestors, Medita or Bristlenose plepo that's not described yet. This size, the adult, only lives here and was completely dry. So this is a very concerning factor of climate change and things like that. We have less water now in the Amazon as we did before. But in the rainy season, that's how the river look like. It's completely different. So everything gets flooded, and you can see that the water also is a little bit different from the Xingu and the EDD. But here, the visibility on the rainy season is almost zero, so you cannot see much any of the route. But the fish love it, it's when they spawn. The water is so strong in the rainy season that the trees that are on the islands, they grow following the current. So you can see they are natural bonsais, so giant natural bonsais. The tree that grows on the roof, and they're all twisted and stuff. Very, very nice. And underwater, you can see, so these are those Podostemacea plants, the buds. They have different colors, and it looks like you are diving in a marine environment sometimes. So you have the rocks, they are shiny black with yellow, and then you have these plants that sometimes are pink, and they're very, very unique. When you turn the rocks, you'll find different species of invertebrates. So this, for example, is a sponge, freshwater sponge. There are 6 species of freshwater sponge only in Xingu, and they act also as an entire ecosystem. So there is a lot of invertebrates of insect larvae, some mollusks, some worms, several kinds of worms. They live in between these galleries of these rocks, and they are, for us, they are fish food, right? So a lot of fish on the Xingu, they are adapted to eat these sponges, the vertebrates that lives among them, especially the plankton. So a lot of the planktons from Xingu, they are carnivores. They're not herbivores or insectivores. They eat the sponges itself and also the larvae, the insect larvae. In the Xingu, you can, in the same place, you can find a lot of different habitats. For example, a very normal habitat in a river is the riverbank with roots and branches, and you find several species that are adapted to that. This Leporhinus friderici is the normal piau, which we call some meters to the left, you can see some granitoid rocks with sand in between, and a little bit of current. And pacus, several species of pacus. Here is a trochilodontate, another paraphyte, reservoir. And depending on the flow, you have different depositions of the sand. As strongest the flow, the biggest are the grains that accumulate. And this is a very common harassing from the Amazon itself. It's a species of trichon, but it's not described yet, but it's related to trichon pencil. And it's very, very beautiful. If you want to do a biotope of Xingu, this one is a good candidate.
Oh, that's not trichon.
No, Intraquartus. It's the same family. Right? It's conjugate. They look like because they're related, but it's a different one. It's trichon. This is the biggest brother to Trichon falatus, like Trichon amazonicus. So they are older, then they are fully useful for Amazonian people. And they have this flat tail, very nice, very nice piece. And this is angry, or this and in the nature it's frugivorous, but in the tank they will eat small fish as well. Anything that fits them off, they will eat advanced fish. Another endemic of Xingu, Moencausia hypoi. This is another good candidate for a biotope tank if you are into it. This is more, I don't know if you have this in US, the large tetra like this. Looks like a neon tetra, but super size. It's very beautiful. And they did all the rocks with 12 flow. It is a video about a community of Xingu rabbits. So you have different species of pacu, different formatis. This is all tetras that they are very adapted to collect things that are coming in the current. So small tetras, so there are 5 or so pieces of tetras, is 3 or 4 pieces of anostomids, and the pacus. And this, I think there are some minutes of this video of peacock beds, nice one, and cyclomelody. This is unedited, so the water as it is. It's clear, but not that clear. So you see there's some degree in the water, especially because of deforestation. But nowadays, whole Xingu Basin, the forests are being cut down to grow soybean and cattle farming. So the water is not that clear anymore. Good Hope Silver Bell, the 22 years. And this is the photo of it. A Sikha, so the Sikha Xingu is endemic also, but even best only found on Xingu, Sikha melanie. These are the babies. The babies all look alike. So if some of you keep peacock beds, you know that the babies are very difficult to split apart the species of one another. This is very nice nostomid, and Synaptolemus latofasciatus. They call it in Brazil Flamenguinho. Flamengo is a big team of Brazil. That the t-shirt is red with black stripes. So the locals call it Flamenguinho. Very nice, and they have upward mouth, so they are adapted to take vertebrates on the rocks. How big they get? Like this. So they're not big. It's a good fish for a tank fish. I'm not saying. This is another anostomid, Aleporinus maculatus. They're also very beautiful. I have some at my tanks. They're peaceful as anostomids can be. They eat each other, but they don't kill each other. So it's nice to have. And here you can see it's a kind of rocks that you find in Xingu is a conglomerate of iron. It's iron oxide, cemented on top of other rocks. So you can see some pebbles here and some sand. And then with time, the sand can be washed out, and then the caves are left. And then you freckles love it. So this is a Silver Sisters, a souvenir. Protecting its cage It is very nice. And this shiny black is very brilliant. Another out instrument, Epolymus tigrinus, with yellow with these black bars, and the tigrinus form this white shape on the bars. The Epolymus July, you know, anastomics, it was called Trichomastix July until 1 month ago, and now it's Epolymus July and Epolymus torrenticular. So see, they are very similar to each other. The one is mimetizing the other, probably. This is, you can find one of these species for every 20 of this, the same school. It's very interesting.
What would be the purpose of imitating a fish?
It's protection against predator if you are in that school. Yeah, yeah. And they need strong current, so they are very well adapted to swim in the current, and they pick invertebrates also in the rocks. Look how tiny is this black. It looks like it was polished, and it was by sand over thousands of years. This is iron oxide that was that grew on top of those rocks. And there's a paper that say that this iron oxide is bacteria bio-made. How can I say that? Yeah, bacteria activity that stacks this iron oxide. So it's very unique to work its habitats. So you need water for a lot of oxygen. Those bacteria for thousands and thousands of years will deposit this shiny black iron oxide on the rocks. Some more couples. And you'll set here. This is also, I think, is found on the hobby sometime, but they are not only found in Xingu, they are throughout whole Amazon. This is a very nice couple of this species, Crozomileo converdalis. That's a very famous sport fish in Brazil. They have in Xingu, they have those festivals that you can fish, and then the biggest one get prizes that the whole city gets mobilized to do it. Look how similar. So this is a pacu, and this is a piranha, Salvos manueli. So that's very the same kind of story. And then this one eats the fins of this one. So that's why they look alike. They are the same school, and then they pick the fins and scales of unfertilized foods. Try to keep this in my tanks, but of course only one left, so it's not a very fun fish to keep. Curious, well, not like Naturelli, so you can keep a school of them together, but this species, no. Also, this one not, it has almost rhombus, is the black piranha. The black piranha is also found in the whole Amazon, but this Xingu variety, it is not so black. It's kind of marble. So gray, dark gray spot. In some other places, they get really black with the red eye. So here are rhombus with some anastomids and Bariancystus champerius, they both planets. This is how they look like in nature as adults. This is the juvenile. So if you can see, you can compare. This is a pebble, this size. And the juveniles, they are found in very fast water in the shallow beneath the slates of rocks. So they are protected there and they are growing, they're eating probably the periphyton and the graphics. The adult is more dentivorous. So that's that habitat, the feeding habitat shifts throughout the life cycle. So when it's young, it's very beautiful, it's very common, the hobby, so the spots are biggest in comparison with the size of fish, also the same, the fins. As it grows up, the spots relatively are smaller, and the saddles are start to lose the yellow color. These are the Conductinaceae, also those plants they are grasping on. These plants that sometimes of the year are exposed. And this is the adults. So they lose a lot of the yellow and the spots are very fine and they get big, and they are only found in very fast flowing water. This species is one of the most sensitive. So this is a video showing look how fast the water is. It's difficult to hold and to have the camera. So sorry for the shaking. You see, it looks like a coral reef. So the fish swimming and might cause a high tide. And Phalaencistus champellus. This is a big name. There's the other one. And this is very strong current. There is in when the habitat is healthy, this is the most common clepro in the Xingu, the Phalaencistus champellus. You see, all the time the rocks are very shiny black because of the iron oxide. A sister species is Phalaencistus chrysolomus, who knows L numbers. This is L18, L81, L177. There's a lot of different L's. And this chrysolomus is L47, if I'm not. Yes, the mango. Yeah, that is a juvenile of the mango. Phalaencistus also chrysolomus, the sister species, but champellus, they live only in strong current. Chrysolomus only in the still water. On the same river, if you go to the margin, you find this species. If you go to the channel, you find the other species. So they are split, so they are not competing for the same resources. Here's another photo. You can see that the rocks are silted, so because the current is not washing them all the time. And here, compared to the video I just showed you, this is the habitat of the chrysolomus. You can see that there's silt deposited from the margin. So if you touch the bottom, a cloud will be here. I think this is a fisherman that works with us. He is trying to collect the fish. So this is taking the fish out, and that's the mango back. That's the adult. Let's see the depth also, how depth it is. This is really hard. Look at the adults, that's 0 meters, 0.8. So that's how deep this species occurred. Another video of the same locality. Now he's trying to get a young. So we're using that stick to gently pull the fish out of the crevice of the rock. So beautiful. Yeah, these are nice. This is fun with that. And then
No poison is strong.
go on this guy. So that's a very interesting thing. They have a dam with they made a cup, and then they put fish inside the bottle so they can keep collecting the fish through the dive. Then when they have the bottle full, they go up and then change the bottle or go to another locality.
They drive with taste or hold their
They both. So they can dive free dive, but they usually have a compressor that's homemade with no filter. So it's a gasoline powered, and then pumping the air to a hose, sometimes 100 meter with a regulator that they with rubber bands they connected. At the beginning, 2011, 2012, I dived. I dove with them with the same equipment. Every single dive has headache as you're breathing the gas, because there's no filter into nothing. And once I was diving at 25 meter deep, those three, right? feet, that's 80 feet. And then the rows just exploded. So I just had to do an emergency ascent without light, without anything. Then I purchased my own scuba tank and everything. So now I have a proper scuba operation there to be more safe. But it's very, very dangerous. And there's a lot of accidents with those fishermen that some of them die, some of them get the decompression disease and stuff like that. So one of our work is to do education, so they can dive less risky. So we are already seeing results on that. This is the third species of Paracystus of the Xingu. It's an undescribed species, but it looks like Niveatus. And what interesting thing is those three species are fish food. This is on the field where the fishermen make a farinha. It's a manioc powder with a lot of seasoning. And the platos were stew platos. Is it good? Yeah, depending. I don't like it much because I don't like the stew fish. I prefer them fried. That's the way they do. And the interesting thing, there are three species, and these species they cook different. So they put first the chandelos on the pan, and cook for 10 minutes, and then the niveatos and cook for more 5 minutes. So niveatos gets ready faster and it's softer. So that can give us also a taxonomic character if you want to differentiate the species of the taste and the cooking time. So we do receive guests from time to time. Sometimes researchers from other countries or even harvest go there, and then we take to the field, and then we get the harvest have that experience, and they like it all the things. You had it. You have it. You have like water. This so the systems are Surini in the field, so the Flecos, the Xingu, and all other rivers and rocky rivers as well, they occupy the spaces in between the rocks. So you can find several species that are adapted to live in a flat environment. This so Narcissus Surini, this is a young that also grow on the pebbles beneath the rocks. Another species that is flat, adapted to stay in between the rocks, is Popliocystis wolverine. We describe this species because it has the claw like wolverine. This is my finger. Actually, it gets hurt with fluid, so sometimes we give blood to our research. So this a patch of odontodes that it can invert, and then this also pops out, and it's like a alicate. It's not like a tool that flies, yeah, fires. And it's very effective.
Question. Why are so many of these gold spots?
It's a good question. I think it's because of these rocks. So the rocks are granitoid rocks that has silicon or other minerals included, and they are green with shiny spots. The main predator of these fish are birds. So aquatic birds that dive and collect the fish. So they are visually oriented, and I think that this color helps them to be camouflaged under the rocks. Good question. What needs to be species? This is Scotiacistus howling. Two was also recently described some years ago, and also black, but spots are bigger. When you see the habitat is those conglomerates of iron oxide with pebbles. So it's dark with large yellow pebbles on it. So it makes sense. It's not proven yet, but it makes sense if this color makes some advantage camouflage on this kind of rocks and this kind of substrate. Also, Scotiacistus areatus L14, the same habitat and the same pattern, but it's more yellow in the piece. This is the youngest, and this is the adult. So look, the young also on the pebbles, and the adult it doesn't fit anymore under the pebbles, but it's still on this kind of rocks. This size. It's very beautiful.
Wow.
Medusa pleca. So ancestral Thanopholis. Prisconos medusa is flat, very flat, These long tentacles, and they live in between the rocks. So they're very flat and they are black because of it. It's difficult to see them when they are on the rocks. And the fishermen say, and I saw it also, this is a very common species, the Xingu, and the zebra crackerel, that's the next one we will talk about. They live in between those guys. So the fishermen say that the ranunculus, they protect the zebra. Yeah, it's skilled. Of course, it's not that, and the zebra is smaller and the zebra can go behind it. So the predator to get the zebra has to get this guy first. So it does protect the zebra, right? Not on purpose. I think it's a very interesting traditional knowledge of the fishermen. This species, however, it's much more widespread than zebra. I don't know why, nobody figured that out, but zebra is only found in 150 kilometers of the Xingu River. So nobody, because too small and too expensive also for them. Yeah. So this is also granitoid rocks, and in between the granitoid, those sponges also grow. And every time, also a fisherman told me that, and then I checked, it's almost 80% true. When you see a zebra, you will see them next to a sponge. So very interesting. In this photo, I wasn't looking for it. This photo is very old. Then there is a sponge there. Then I started to film the fish. So this is in the Contagrande do Xingu. These are the rocks they live in, very shallow. There is some other species, but the zebra is here.
Oh my God.
There is the sponge. So they're always with the sponge. And that's very unique, very interesting. And they eat the sponge. They eat the sponge and they integrate, or there is insect larvae that is with them. Another spot, another place, another zebra, the sponge. There is this one, yeah, it's here. So very, very, very nice in this sponge. So the relations that they have. Again, maybe there is a sponge in between those rocks here. Yeah. And see that the water is gently flowing. Here is the Moicauda, beetle, Moicauda hectoid. They also breed in between the rocks. So this film is to show you the current is not that strong. That's a misconception that people think, to keep zebra, you have to have a strong current. You don't need it. You need a focused, gentle sponge. Yeah, like that. In crevice, in little caves. Yeah. Fact, when Belo Monte made the dam, so Phalancistus chantelos disappeared. So they're not found anymore on the reservoir area. The zebras are. So the chantelos needs flow, a lot of flow. Zebra, if not many flow, it can live there. So that's very unique. Another species of Hypocystus, Uja L174. This is where they live in. So they live in between or in very small caves on those conglomerates where the pebbles came out from zero caves. They are found there. And this photo was taken in 60 feet deep. Still 30 degrees? Still 30 degrees, yes, 32 sometimes. That's a video of another locality. So this is it consists of jar, so they get very, very hidden. So just so you can understand, here is Altamira. That's the division between Lower Xingu and Middle Xingu that I talked before. Belo Monte was here. So the white circles is the original distribution of Hypocystus zebra. Then the green dots are the original distribution of Hypocystus sideni. And the red, the distribution of Uja. So you can see that Uja is even more restricted than zebra itself. And what is interesting is zebra occurs in between 0 and 30 feet. Utah occurs in between 30 feet and 130 feet. Then this other species, Sidani, occurs in the upper range. So this one is only in the upper range, that one is in the lower range, and this is in the totality.
Now, all of those definitions, that's the dry season.
Yes, it's a dry season.
Rainy season,
It's 5 meters up or down, but 5 to 8 meters, even deeper. And what's interesting is this species, or they occur together. See, so sometimes zebra and Utah they occur in the same locality. Sometimes Utah, Sidani, and zebra in the same locality, but it's only here in this region the three of them occurs together. It's on the transition between the lower, the middle Xingu. And here is where you find this kind of fish. If you are into flecos, you see there are several numbers here: 173, 236, 400. A lot of elves can be found here, more than this that are showing, and they are only on this area. And then I started to think they might be hybrids between all these three species. Obviously, they say that if we put those together, they can produce spring, and they look like something like this. So we are investigating if those are natural hybrids.
did he say LG36 in that area?
Yes, there is a misconception that is from EDE, but that's I know the fisherman that lied to the guy that yeah, the guy looks me, and he told because he found this here in this area, and it was a novelty. Everybody, where did you find it? Oh, EDE here. So a lot of people spend a lot of money trying to get that fish here, and the guys keep selling this fish. Yes, but now we know that's from here in the hybrid zone.
Do you have to have sponge and grit that zebras to keep them? Going?
The drinks, you mean?
Uh-huh.
No, whenever was able to catch the sponges because you need to do special feeding. You don't have, if you filter your water, you are taking the food of the sponges out. So it's very difficult to keep them alive with the zebras. But if you feed them good protein rich with also fibers, they do good. They don't give the sponges.
All right. Thank you.
So let's move to another habitat. So for now, we talked about rocks. Now we will talk very fast about root. So there are several species. How many fish do you see here?
One.
There are some. Right now, here's one, the most obvious one, but there's another here, and maybe another one here. These are insectary cocoons, but the nets that they make for to second larvae. And if you look closely here, these branches, you have several species of flecos also. It's not here, but that's how nature is. They are there, you're not seen, but they are there. So there is some more Hindenburg here. See, here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So they are all stacked here. So there are some Hinotocycles that are over here also. I'm trying to do a close up here. See, so they just take like a stick there, very well camouflaged also. Yeah. Rhino, silver parrot. Yeah, he can kind of. Good tail. See the good tail here. That's very efficient. So you can, if you are not looking for it, you don't notice. Yeah. So here. I know to sequence here are also Carpulionictis before another one here. And they look like a little thing that it's just little dirt, right? But it's the tail.
Yeah.
Bottom, and we'll try to That's a different kind of habitat. If you do a close-up, see some of like this. And there's a hint of the sequence. Waru, if I'm not mistaken. To the roots, this big blackos, Sildakan, is Leandro 25. And here it's one of our research when I was trying to look for the fish. So this is me with helmet, because sometimes you charm in between rocks, pulling the rocks with the pipe rocks, so then I see the temperature and the fire. And then I was without gloves. So but then I found the fish, so I had to take it. But you see that it's not safe to get a silver cantus full size without gloves. I have a lot of spines. Then some of those videos that you see are taken with this. I have a helmet with a GoPro that is filming the entire dive. And this is on the reservoir area. That's what I was not expecting. It's in very good shape. Look at the fins. Yeah, it's a good female. And then a lot of spines. Yeah, not good. My student is in the other side, so I was teaching. No, do not do this. But see, beautiful female, effects. And then I just use the same rock. That's also how the fishermen take the fish and then just bring. And then there's a lot of mollusks here. If you can see, so there's a lot of dracenity, and if the family is from little bivalves, they like to eat that. I don't know if it was to be seen here, but yeah. So then release it. Yeah, there you go. Good female. Nice. So that's how the water looks like in the Xingu, dry season. Panaki. Panaki study. Very nice, L27. Usually people think they are on the wood. In normal rivers, yes, but in the Xingu, that's not the case. This is a somewhat young fish. And this also somewhat young, but here in the Xingu, you find Panaki on the rocks, not on the wood. And this was very deep. So this is a big panak on the rocks. That wasn't a shallow, but you usually find like this, 20 or 65 feet under. So then you see here a lot of night fish. Then the big guy just chilling there. Water 32 degrees Celsius. That's a big guy. No water. So here, if you don't have flashlights, it's completely dark also. So me and the fishermen there.
Which is the dangerous fish to dive?
Maybe electric eel, but even though it's not that, we don't have any accidents. Here, yeah, you have more live fish, so the electrically, and some shrimp. All right. But if you go a little bit shallower, 26 feet, you'll find the youngs of Panaki. So the juveniles of Panaki are still found on wood, but adults only on rocks. That's a little bit different from the other rivers, Panaki. The fishermen, again, are the ones that know. So we just learned from them. And they tell that in the rainy season, the adults goes to the shallow, and then they breed on the flooded forest. So the babies grow on the wood, as ancestor did with other species also, still does. But instead of keeping on the wood like other species of Panaki, they migrate to the bottom, and then they grow on the rocks. That's a theory, but as the fisherman said, I think it makes a lot of sense. We are trying to to get data on that to corroborate what the fishermen say, but almost always they are correct. The fishes, so that might be true also. In that wood, you saw a wooden catfish. I'm not getting into it. Also, it's only the face. And in South America, I don't know if here also, but South America, if you see a riverbank with holes like that, you know that it's a black hole. Right? You have some fish that does it here also. Yeah, catfish, huh? Yeah. In London, huh? So this, of course, is on the dry season, but when it's flooded, the plecos occupy trees and they breed there. And when you dive, you can see underwater is like this. So it's very well made with a lot of heat. So it's proof that there is a pleco there. Because where is a pleco is true pleco. And it's like a condominium apartment. So there are one in the side of the other. And they made it themselves. They work it, so they keep doing this and cleaning and getting it further and further. Here is the video that I found one of those caves, and I was curious to see how deep it was. So I will put my hand, and I thought it would be like this. No, it was, I think, let's see this. So you see, it's clay, it's very soft. Yeah, keep going, keep going, keep going. You're getting each other, right? This is the two. This is a product. We wait for it to be clear. That's the platform. That's the guy. The filter. Yes, this is the Concha Vitata. Now 15. Look at that.
Get earphones and.
And you think it's legit? Was fancy. Yeah.
Did they take them?
They take it. Yeah. But here I was doing research, so just filming, measuring, and reducing that.
That little pleco,
Yes.
meter.
Yes. Yeah. It was amazing. Yeah.
They have something at the end of the cave, I mean, in the water, you think.
That's it.
Freaking,
Yeah. Well, they keep ventilating, but even though it's very
yeah, you should be opposite.
yeah. But this species is very it can cope with a lot of different environments. So you find the same species on the rocks in fast flowing water. And this was in the reservoir. This already is the flooded area on the reservoir. And this species is one of the ones that can live there. Even if no oxygen, they make their own caves on the mud and they are good. So this is very well suited species. So just let's speak a little bit of the big cats. They are also in Xingu, Pseudoplatysma pontifer, the species we have there. Also the red tail catfish, Phytocephalonia enormous. In the whole Amazon, there are tales about it that the kids in ancient times, an adult of this guy could eat a young kid. And sometimes the kids just disappeared. The people, I'll let you ate my kid. Lots of there are two species of big catfishes that were known to eat little kids if they play along in the reserve. So these are this fish. And the head is massive. So mechanically it's stressful.
Yeah.
Once I collected one of these, and when we opened it, it was a head of a capybara.
Oh, wow.
They can eat large mammals. Yeah, it was a very good meat feed.
Tigers on the
Yeah. Yes, to the small thing, the rabbits. So that's one of my families that I lost with my holiday. This is Platydoros, the Pantelos, the Raphael, I think you call it Raphael. This is I thought it was related to it, so I described it as a Platydoros here in Delaware. But Mark's away, you know him. It's a great friend of mine, yeah, and he just synonymized my fish into central Curie. That's a genus that wasn't supposed to occur in southern Brazil. It was nice, but I still think it's a black doris. Then let's see, more studies. But now the molecules work say that it's a central Curie, closely related to central Curie. Megalodoras, so the big varieties. This is an undescribed species only found on Xingu. It has traits that the Uranus in Megalodoras. Not as they can eat, but they are not in a commercial sell.
Are there my areas there?
So what?
My areas.
No,
No,
there is no.
Okay.
Well, not in this area, maybe in the lower Xingu, because it has the Amazon influence there. This is a habitat for every.
Robin. Perfect.
So this is a habitat for you, a fish that you might like. So you see the bottom right, the big rapids is here, fast flowing water. Then you have islands with gently water coming through the islands, a lot of sand, and in sand you can find what? These little things that looks like sand. All right. Yeah, some people like to keep in pools too. So this is how you find corridors are now looking shown. So if you send you one, and then this is how you photograph them. Because some time ago I still had there. I don't have much hair now. And so it's just few inches. The fish right there. So this is the photo I take here. So this is the riverbank. The fish were lying here. And Opizoma, it was before Corridorus Benachi, and now Opizoma Benachi. And look, they are really well camouflaged. Now, birds, there's problems to find this when hundreds of these are swimming on the sand. This wasn't full sun, right? So they just in the water they do like this. The waves, the little wave, and then the light, and it's completely invisible. Yeah, invisible. That's just the good term. Water. Yes, and the momentarily can be 35, 36. And they just breathe air, so yeah, we better with air and keep doing like this. That's a fish I think you never see before. So this is another habitat close to the forest, a lot of leaves and a lot of silt. So when you put a net, there are fish here, not only birds. So this is adult catfish. This one. This here is an adult catfish. There are probably 6 here. If you put in the tank, it looks like this. You know this fish? You want it? Yes. Yeah, very normal. No. Yes, there it is. It's the smallest catfish in the world. It's full of plaques. Yes, it's full of plaques. So this is the adult. And they have odontoids only on the nostril. So it's a family that is on the same group of the platypus, but bigger group is Loicarioidea, the super family, together with Calyptidae, and these guys, and also the Trichomicteridae, the Kangaroo, they are all the same big group. They have odontoids only on the nostril here. So one way to identify it with your finger is the nostril attached to your fingerprint. It's this species. That's how I teach my students how to identify this species. And look, this is the adult. This Coloplax, this Colotrix. There are 5 species. In the Xingu, it's only this one. But the whole family of 5 species, they have 1 inches here. I think it's more. 1 centimeter is here. So they are 1.4 centimeters, the adults. So that's a miniature species. I think they are amazing. And I think there is I never heard that this is really hopping. But it's true. I will be arrested. Would like to. And what fish is this? This is Xingu. Stingray, yeah. So you can see here. Here is what they look like in nature. So you see the eye here, and then in the tail here, In the same specimen, if you chase it, they will swim away. Tomatrigon berbinii, nice. This species I had done. So I was teaching my students how not to be stung, and when collecting, when sailing, and I told, you have to, you have to, how is that? I protect something. Yeah. Well, yeah, you have to move off to need to get stung by ray, and then I just finished that sentence and I was stung. And I had new print boots, I have everything. And then I lost half of my students. Yeah, not much for this. Only the good ones paints. And then another specimen. So sometimes they are hot too, but with sand. So this is beautiful. They are also Dorpigni, but a different pattern. Use what? This is with the pebbles. And of course, the Xingu species are endemic to Xingu, the Leopoldi.
So what did you do after you got stuck?
Cried them up. And I tried the fisherman methods, that is putting hot water, and they like to put oil, engine oil. Then engine oil, I didn't, no, engine oil. I tried the hot water to degrade the enzymes or the proteins that the poison. But then my foot swallowed too fast. Then we take the boat, and 2 hours later, I was in the hospital.
Okay, so
2 hours pain.
do they have something that?
Yeah, they do.
to help?
They clean, and then do some antibiotics, and then even if they clean fast enough, it recovers good. But I
You
had
already had hours, yeah.
the fishermen, they spend days, and then it can be necrosis, and it can be very ugly depending on the how much the stung.
We had a guy that was here last time. And his ankle was swollen up instantly.
Instantly.
My wife went out there this morning. And it took again to store. It's like, where's all the truck? I'll do that with work off.
Yeah.
Do they eat cigarette? Do they eat cigarette?
No, they can't. So some parts of Brazil they eat, but in Xingu not much.
You're the salt.
Yeah, they're true. So very more common. So a baby body with this was not that. Then they are famous because of this. They are called the my emoji raised because of this. Sometimes it makes letters, letter G, letter L, letter U. It always more fun. Or this.
Oh, do the stingrays, if you get near them, will they just stay and say like poke them?
The accident is when you step on them.
Okay.
They do not chase you. Or,
They don't live
you know,
unless you like interact with them.
Yeah.
They aren't.
yeah. This is another habitat to homes like killifish. So this is where you find killifish on the Xingu. This is São Felix area. So we have these mountains and these are kind of a floodplain of the river, but it's not actually a floodplain. This is natural landscape. You can see here that there's a little some ponds. In the rainy season, this gets flooded, not by the river itself, but the raining water. To the other side, so these are the fields where you can find killifish in the Xingu. This was, I think, May of 2023, and it was already the end of the season of these ponds, so they completely dry. And those fish here are the annual killifish. So, and here is where you find the last days of the pond, the killifish. So it's in the mud, and they are all big, full color fish. So here also we call some. Let's see. So it's impossible to think that there is a living aquatic fish here, but there is. Of course, they are in the last days of their life. There's a lot of birds already eating them, and they will, if not, they will just fry them, right? And here we collected some of the killifish of the Xingu. So this is we found. So this trip was Pitunas and West. It's very beautiful. I don't know if someone here too keep those fish, Brazilian. I don't really fish. This was in my tank for some time, but even if they don't die in the dry, if you keep them then in a tank, they last little longer than 1 year. They start to falling apart. If they lose the colors, the scales start to. It's ugly to see for people. So they have a very big office fire. It's very very. And 1 week later, no fish. Another species, Leandro Altamira, then Spectrolebias vinculatus was also on that muddy pond. And this is a new species of Spectrolebias. There are four cells in the fins. Another species, Trigonectis, also new one. This is big male. This fish is like this size. Trigonectis, very big.
And that's still an annual?
Yes. No, this size. And in northeast area of Brazil, there is Sinolepis. I don't want to heard about this. They grow 3 months from one egg to this side. So it's very aggressive. It's called Sinolepis because it looks like a dog. The face is very big. It dies in 6 months. Egg to die in 6 months, and then they release a lot of eggs. It's very crazy. In northeast Brazil, there is a dry area, so its water is very scarce. Some phoenix is here. So the animal that I just showed you is here. The rocks that I showed you is here. And if we have time, I think we do. We can talk a little bit about this area now. It's totally different. This now is the upper Xingu. The upper Xingu is a sedimentary basin again. So it's called RSS, sedimentary basin. So it's mainly clay with silt, condensed, hundreds or millions, thousands of years. And there's no rocks here. So you have this meandric river. So there's not a slope like in the middle of Xingu with a lot of rocks, a lot of rapids. Here it's more or less flat with the river going like this because there's no slope. And then a lot of here I think it's 800 meters. See like yeah, it's very up. 600 to 800. And the water is greenish. You can see there's a little bit of rocks yet, but with a lot of clay, a lot of sediment, a lot of height, crystal clear water. So we have some pretty plants. Here is a Mauricia. It's a palm tree, big palm tree, but they usually grow in flooded area, and you have several plants. Look, plant. So you can name some of them. I'm not very good with plant names yet. But you can. Some of those plants are terrestrial, but because in the small rivers, the fluctuation varies a lot during even the day. So sometimes these plants are what?
Plots,
I don't know. I think this is Echanandra or like that, but I don't know. You can check it. But this is a photo like very much. This is Oliver Lucanus that we and me we made a lot of expeditions to make the book that we printed some years ago. And here is Oliver doing a dive to take some photos here, and I captured this moment. It's like a manual landscape or a sense, it's nature. So like big views of plants and a lot of fish. So it's very beautiful. Here it's even more beautiful because the light here is not it's not vivid enough, but it's very. I think it's Kabomba or something. Why not? I don't know. The fish species there are different also. For this species of pacu is not found in the Middle Ocean. It's only found in the upper. Then you have small petals also, small petals growing in between threads. This is another species of Leporinus of Prostomid. More plants. More plants. Look how here, look. It's not good right now. Yes, it's on your phone. Yes, yes. Here's you can identify better here. It's not that difficult. You can reach from the south. You get the roads, main roads that you can go north and then reach that area. Not by boat from Altamira because there are a lot of additional plants in between, so you cannot pass. So this is a small Rhinophocyclus, Rhinophocyclus also living on the grass. And what is nice about this subfamily is they wrap themselves velvet. See? It's not the mouth, it's this velvet. So they do like this, then they just reveal it. Sometimes they grasp the mouth, but they don't need to. This is a small catfish heptatid. They live in between this plants, and they during the day they hide there, and during the night they go hunt. The stingray is one of the species that is also there. It's the same species that you find in the middle Xingu. This is Leopoldi, but the color, so that the dots are a little bit different. It's still considered the same species. Epostomus fabellus, a species that is found in Xingu and also in Tapajós. And here in the clay riverbank, they also do like the culture, so they dig their own caves. That's the same thing, only found in the Xingu. The Lipophytis xinguensis, it has its little dots. It is also found throughout the basin. Interesting, this river is a little bit colder. It's 26 degrees Celsius. So colder than the middle Xingu, that's 32. And this species can be found in both places. And this is how it looks like, this flooded area in Florida's forest. And there's cichlids people here. And this program, Polanderoi. So I was in the expedition that first collected those fish. That was also with the corridor of CW 111. It is in the same region, but not the same basin. That's one misconception that in the websites that my friend made. We put this species in Kurua River, is a tributary to the Xingu, the Xingu. And it is labeled the CW 111 to Kurua also, but it was from Jamanxin. It's a Tapajós tributary. The headwater of both rivers are like this, and you have the road. So you collecting one river is going down there. Okay. So I collect the grandfather. Yes. So you are in the road, so you're collecting one creek is going east, some meters, other creek is going west. So one is Xingu, another was Tapajós. Xingu, Tapajós. Then it was mislabeled on their website. That's why everybody thinks that CW 111 is Kurua, but it's not. It's Jamanxin.
It's 143 and then 7.
Yes. So it's in the same area. Yeah, it was described last year, I think. So this is a female of Stograma Polanderoi. And this is a big waterfall that is in the upper Kurua. So the Histograma in the corridors is found on tributaries below this. Of course, they cannot.
Does Oliver do the drum work, or do you do your own drum work?
Yeah, we do together. Yeah, something like
The drum guy, right?
Did you Joe fault? The drum. No, I have mine too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so these images are all mine. So he has, but he's more advanced because he's working with Margaret, Alaska, and the McGill University. They have a whole facility with the drone and stuff. So I have just a small DJI for dummies. Yeah. But nice pictures, nice pictures. So this black hole is not very common. It's Hartia. Hartia is a black hole that's for fast flowing water, that's for cooler water also. That's a different species of Hartia found only upstream the waterfalls. Another one. So there are three species of Hartia in that area. Look how it needs actually rocks. So here are some algae growing and they grasping. They're very common. Then you have Chantelus there also. Some people think they are different species. For now, I'm not convinced. We are calling it Chantelus yet. Hippopotamus ericae. That's a very beautiful one. Living in the wood. Here is Ancistrus ozea. So also living on the woods, but in the upper Xingu. This is the adult. Well, so this is me with her and Oliver. This I think was 2014. We were taking photos. Some of the photos of these publications we take in this exhibition, but one more later. Then we made a book. Unfortunately, I don't have the book here, but Oliver still has some copies left. If you want to have this book, just give him a message on this email and he will email to you. Thank you. And that's it. I hope I didn't take too long of your time. Oh yeah. I brought some t-shirts to raise funds for our project. If you are interested, I can show you. Then we have three models: one with a Pleco, one with a Stingray. My students draw, and the other one with only the logo of my project. If you wanna give us help, we can sell some t-shirts later.
Nice. Mention this inhabitants that will extreme temperatures. Right.
It was in the past, for sure. Yeah, there are some species that are found in both. Yeah, for example, Cicla, Indian, is another species of river pest that's only found on the upper and upper California. So if there are other species that are common to the upper drainages of both, probably because of wind cattle.
So what about like Pipilotus? I did not see any in your document.
Yeah.
But the apple plants?
Yes, yeah. And so yeah, we have some, but I had to take some pictures out, and I was here. I just I had to leave this, but we have ponies, Melodus, a bunker that's not culture anymore. They are programmed vitamin species. Okay, this is one of the t-shirts. So I have here. So the Leopoldi, I know that they are not allowed here in Brazil. We cannot keep this. Basically. Thank you. And this is Champelos. Look, it's not by my students. My students brought this. Yeah, so we have some of those different sizes, and in the end, you can go on this project.
Except me, the XA.
Fishes
Yeah.
from here. This is the regular one of the project. Has a little Brazilian flag, Pará state flag, the Xingu in the back. And this species do Xingu, fishes from Xingu. Then the local name, Xingu local name, and then the scientific name.
Nice.
Okay, questions?
Yeah. But yeah. Thank you. And when can I get the name? Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Get captured.
There you go.
Yeah, thank you.
Say goodbye for me, you too. Get up there. Do it. So I can close it.
Goodbye to you too. Oh, you said this.
Huh?
So you too.
Yeah, say goodbye.
Bye too. Thank you all. watching us.